Today, I am super excited about bringing a brand new series your way with a brand new coach, and this is going to be a little bit different than my Bowling Green series, which is more of a coaching carousel, so after every few years, I'll be changing schools there. But this particular dynasty, I plan on running in this school for a very long time, and just seeing how many championships we can rack up, and what kind of stats that we can accumulate over the years. My longest running dynasty in my personal life was about 7 or 8 years, and so I plan on beating that with this school that I've chosen. And so we'll talk a little bit about the school that I've chosen in a minute, but I'm really excited about that as well. So, looking at our coach here, we have Artie Blair. He is from Coastal Carolina. He both played there and coached there, but he's been retired for a little while, so he's getting back into the game. And so we're excited for his return. Now, as far as Playbook, I have not picked the Playbook yet, but I will momentarily after we decide our school. So, as far as who we want to be, though, we can select this. We want to focus more on a run-style offense in the beginning and see where it leads from there based on the player skill set that we have now on the team that I've chosen. I think that running is going to be a priority, and we'll see where it goes from there. As far as play calling, we want to stay more on the aggressive side, try to take some more shots downfield when we do pass, and also trying to break for big plays. I'd like to be a big play team down the stretch and see what we can do. Sub-frequency is going to be left on high. I want to make sure that we have a lot of depth in receiver and running back position to make sure that we can sub out frequently, get some young guys some playing time, but also get the experienced guys a little bit of rest, as well as the offensive line. I would like to at least be 2 deep on the offensive line so that we can sub them frequently and keep fresh guys on the field. Moving on, we have our defensive playbook. Now, defensively, I struggle. I'm not that great at playing the defense, so we're going to see what we can do in trying to really bolster our recruiting to make sure that we have some good players to maybe counter how bad I am at defense. So 4-2-5 is the set that I like to run. I like to have a lot of pressure up front, but also have really good lockdown corners and safeties and behind. So it's going to be most likely a bit more of a bend but don't break, allow the big run but not allow the big pass. And so we're going to defend the run more than we do the pass, or we're going to defend the pass more than we do the run. Aggressive versus conservative. We want to stay slightly aggressive, but not too aggressive. We don't want to be blitzing too much. Moving on, as far as rules and difficulty, we are going to set the coach starting level at level. We're actually going to give him a few levels just because, he's been coaching for a little while. So we're going to start him at 10. We're going to have a normal coach level progression rate. I just kind of like doing it that way because, it's easier to recruit and gets the ball rolling a little bit quicker. And when you have to start from ground zero, it takes 2 to 3 years before you're even able to recruit decent players. So I just want to do it this way. I'm interested to see how you feel about it. Put down in the comments below on how you feel and how you would do it. And maybe you are that type that likes to start from ground zero. I'm just not necessarily that type. As far as all of these, I'm going to ask suggestions for what I should do with these. I don't really mess with the AI and the game rules and things like that. I just want to make sure that we have everything set on where it needs to be set. So user versus user doesn't matter. We're going to keep the injuries on, but we're going to turn the fatigue off because the computer's players don't get fatigue. I don't think we should either. We're going to start the quarter link at 6 minutes and keep it there. Play clock is obviously on. Game speed is normal. Minimum player speed threshold, I've heard to put it at 51, so that's what we're going to do. As far as all of this, it stays the same. Moving on, custom conferences. We're not really going to mess with all that, but we're going to begin our dynasty. So where are we going to go? That's the big question. Where are we going to go and be there for a long time? We are actually going to go. I'm going to do this just to kind of throw you off the scent a little bit. Just kidding. We all know it. It's going to be South Carolina. I'm super excited. South Carolina is obviously my favorite team in my personal life, and so I would love to play with them now and hope for big things in the future with them being the head coach at South Carolina. Here's the tell of the tape. Now, this is 2013, so South Carolina actually looks pretty decent throughout these seasons here. You can see in 2006 winning the Liberty Bowl and really kind of maintaining bowl presence for the rest of that time. But this is 2013. If you were to go and continue on throughout the rest of these years, you would see a very different story at South Carolina. South Carolina has struggled very hard to win games over the past few years, and that is exactly why I'd like to play with this team. And so we're going to sign the contract. We've got some things to hand out. We do have 10 upgrades. And so we're going to go ahead and start using them. We are going to do the lockout thing, but I don't really think that we'll do a whole lot of it. As far as recruiting, we're going to turn it up to 100%. Honestly, it just makes sense to just kind of put a little bit in all these, doesn't it? Anyway, I don't really know a whole lot about the coaching skill trees, and I know that recruiting is something we're going to finish first. But all this other stuff, I think that we'll just kind of come back to it when we're done. Okay, so we're back. I've done all these. I've placed these where I want them. I want to focus on recruiting a lot, obviously, as head coach, and start getting some pretty decent players. The reality is that by the end of the season, I would be here anyway, so we're basically just starting at year 2 as far as the upgrades. We have Clayton White. If you are a South Carolina fan, you are very aware of these coordinators. I hope that we can hang on to them for a little while. I wish that the game had a setting to where you could hold on to your coaches because I like these guys. Marcus Satterfield is our offensive coordinator. We're going to focus on the run game right now. I believe that's where we kind of have the best players right now, so we want to make sure that we put the best players on the field and that they get the best upgrades as well. As far as recruiting, we're not going to focus so much on recruiting. On this episode, I kind of just want to get into a game and play, so let's go ahead and set up our custom schedules. We're going to leave this mostly the same. North Carolina, that's a pretty much given. We play them just about every year, so we might as well play them here. UCF, I don't think that really makes a whole lot of sense for us, so we're going to try something different. How about Coastal? Give us a little bit of an in-state rivalry game. Not a rivalry game, but an in-state game. You can see very next week we have Georgia at the second week. So that's going to be a difficult task. Of course, all these are SEC schools: Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi State. I see a good chance of losing a lot of these games. As far as the FCS teams, for right now, the first few years, look at our strength of schedule. It's A. There's no reason why we can't keep a couple of FCS opponents. I mean, obviously, South Carolina would do that in the first place. Any team would do that in the first place, so we're going to do it as well. At least one, and we may cap it at 1 for the rest of the series, or we may get rid of them altogether if the team really doesn't. I mean, if they're, too good, what's the point in putting 70 up against an FCS school? Let's go to redshirting players. Really, probably not planning on doing a whole lot here. We're going to redshirt Colt Gauthier. He's kind of hopefully the future of the team. We'll see. But right now we have Luke Doty, who's most likely going to get the start. Running backs, we're going to redshirt McDowell. That's a good move, even though McDowell had a lot of progress here this past year as kind of that oddly good running back. He's only 5'9", but he's 177, so he's got a little bit of power behind him, but he is the fastest back on the team, as you can see according to the game. Fullback-wise, we got Jaheim Bell, which is going to be an awesome receiving threat, so we got to make sure we get him the ball. He's a great player. Receiver-wise, this is where I think we need a little bit more depth, and if you look at it, really, we got three seniors, and a bunch of juniors. I mean, in 2 years, we're completely wiped out in the receiving corps with just Caldwell being left over. So we need to really fill some spots here. So what we're going to do, I guess, is redshirt these 2 bottom dwellers. They're not actually that bad, Xavier Leggett and Caldwell, but we are going to redshirt them. Eric Shaw, he's going to get the slap of the red shirt just because we got 2 seniors ahead of him, with Nick Muse and E.J. Jenkins, both really good tight ends. I think E.J. Jenkins is a little bit better than his stat here, but that's okay. Left tackle, not really much we can do here. Left guard, but it is a chance for us to kind of see what we have. Senior, we have a 79, while Ja'Kai Moore is at a 78 as a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, but still, he's going to be a pretty good player at 6'6", 312 pounds. Are you kidding me? All right, Jayla Nichols and Vershawn Lee, both fairly decent players, but we are going to redshirt him, and then we'll have somebody else fill in that secondary role there. I'm sure, see, we got Murphy right here. He could definitely fill it. Same overall and everything. So, Let's redshirt Morgan. And continuing on, we're going to leave him for depth. Nothing we can do there. Defensive tackle. We're going to redshirt Hemingway, which is a player I'm really excited about. He's going to be great at some point, but right now he's a 79. He hasn't used his red shirt yet. He can get it much, much better. He would actually end up being probably one of the best on the team, aside from maybe even this Alex Huntley, which I remember watching him out of high school and keeping up with his recruiting and everything and being extremely excited when he came to play for South Carolina. So middle linebacker, it looks like left side linebacker. We're in a lot of trouble here. So we're going to have to figure out something for that. Sherrod Green at middle linebacker is pretty good. I think what we're going to do is we're going to change Staley. Damani Staley, probably going to change him over to left side linebacker. The speed kind of hurts, though, so we may not. May look for some other opportunity there. Right side linebacker, nothing. Honestly, I feel good about redshirting him because you look right behind him as a 70, but he's a freshman. So let's hold it there for now. Corners, we're looking very weak there. Hopefully we can get some recruits in. Can't redshirt anybody. Can't redshirt anybody here. Got free safety. But let's take a look. Who is our top free safety? Jalen Foster. Amazing safety for us this past year. Those ratings do not really tell the story of how good he really is. So, moving on from that, we have RJ Roderick. He's going to be our strong safety. I'm sorry, he's going to be the one that we can't redshirt him because he won't play. Man, RJ Roderick we're gonna find a place somewhere for him. I think he's got the skill set to play in other positions, maybe even free safety. Look, we kind of have a lack of depth here anyway, so yeah, we may put him there. Even let him start if there's some youth. Not really, so we'll let him battle it out and see what happens. Kicker, we have Parker White, who is actually the team's leading scorer, all-time leading scorer. He beat out Elliott Fry for the title, so that's pretty cool. But in the game, they don't really treat him very well at an 83. I wish that was better. Kai Kroger, again, I think he's a lot better than what they say, but he is just a sophomore. And that's our team. That's our team. That's our red shirts. We really didn't redshirt a whole lot of players this year. Next year, I'm sure it'll be very different. Let's see. Who? Damani Staley, is that right? No, Tonka Hemingway, Xavier Leggett, Lee Caldwell, Shaw, McDowell, Guthier, and Morgan. You can see that the worst rated player on the team is actually a 68. And that's really not bad, honestly. This team is a lot better than on paper than what they have played over the past couple of years. But it's I'm not surprised at all that South Carolina won 7 games this year. Not surprised. I'm really not. It's a pretty decent team. You can see right there, the tape tells you. You got some X's and O's to play with. I'm going to set up the recruiting board off camera, come back, show you the recruiting board, and then we'll end this video and get ready for the next one. So let's do that. I'll be back in just a second. So jumping back into the recording for just a moment, I noticed something pretty strange and pretty crazy. Look at all the positional needs. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a struggle of an offseason. Holy moly. 2 defensive end, a kicker, free safety, corners, middle linebacker. We know that we need some outside linebackers as well. Defensive tackle, tight end, wide receiver, and a QB. That is crazy. I think we're going to hold off on the QB because I have pretty high expectations for the youth that's on the squad. So I think we're going to hold off on that. But everything else, defensive end, we knew about wide receiver, we knew about linebacker, but defensive tackle, we've just got, I guess we don't have enough young guys. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and set up the recruiting board. I just thought that I would poke in and tell you all that. That is crazy. But we'll take care of it. We'll figure it out, and we'll get some new guys on the squad, and it'll be all right. But goodness gracious, we're going to have a lot of trouble in the off season here, but that's okay. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, so let's do it. All right, I'll go ahead and finish up this recruiting board, and I'll be right back in just a sec. All right, so that took a while, but we got a lot on the board here that I'm really excited about, especially this Robert Archie. I mean, this could be one of the greatest kids that we have in our first few years. This is a 5-star defensive end. He's 6'3", 243. Second-ranked defensive end pass rusher in the country from Mullen, South Carolina, ranked at a 79. I haven't scouted him yet, so hopefully that remains that high 70s level. But a 5-star get that's interested in us first is pretty huge. Defensive, or not a defensive, but a tackle. He's the number 1 pass blocker. He does have us on his board. Or does he? We're not on his board yet, but this is one that we're going to work hard to try to get. He's the number 1 tackle in the country. He's a pass blocker. So we want to try to see if we can get him. Outside linebacker was a big cause for need. This guy right here is interested in us. We're first on his board, so that would be a solid, massive get for us if we can do that. Again, not scouted yet. I only did scouting on guys that did not have us within the top 2. So that we could tell if we really wanted to spend the time and effort to try to go get them. These guys, we know that we can pretty much have them locked in the bag if we give them a few points, and so not really worried about scouting them at the moment. This right here is defensive end. We are 3rd on his board. Chad Coleman, 6 foot, 259, but he's the number 18th defensive end. He is a pass rusher. Kicker, another grave importance that we need. I'm going to tell you something. It's really tough. If you look, we got 27 total prospects. We got 22 in our team needs. So that's pretty crazy to think about, that we have to have 22 people on the board no matter what. And this is like 2 to 3 recruits deep in each one that we need. So it's a lot. Anyway, kicker Ryan Scott. This guy is pretty all around, pretty good. We're 2nd on his board. I think we're going to remove the rest of the kickers and just focus most of our time on him. That could be a mistake later on, but I want to show you the other guy that I have is Johnny Douglas, which his kick power is awesome, 87. I mean, he's, over time, he would have a maxed out kick power most likely, but his kick accuracy is 64, and I think that's where I struggle the most in kicking, is keeping the ball straight. So I don't think that he's going to help us a whole lot, so I'm hoping that we can kind of move up on the board with him. But Johnny Douglas, at the same rate, we're first on his board, so it's could be an easy pickup for us. So let's go back to our all positions. Going down, continuing on, we have a lot ranked in the 70s, and when you look at their prospect overviews, they're all 3 and 4 stars. I don't think I have a single one that's under 3 stars, and most of these guys are over the level of 70. What I was thinking about is that our team right now, we don't want to digress, right? So we need to recruit better. And so we're going to be looking for guys that are ranked in the lower 70s to start. 60s just won't cut it. They're just depth players that would be substitutes. So we need to try to make sure that we're getting the best players that we possibly can. So 3 to 4 stars, even some 5 stars here on the board. Hopefully we can get some of them. And I think it's very accurate to the way that South Carolina would recruit in real life. Byron Jenkins, it's another one. We're 2nd on his board. He's the number 1 wide receiver out of Woodfield, South Carolina, 6'3", 200 pounds. He's a little bit shorter than I'd like to see out of receiver, and his speed isn't amazing, but his catching is 76, spec catch 88, which is very high, and catching traffic is 85. Route running at 87 means that he is only going to get better. Hopefully the speed goes up a little bit, but I see him as kind of like that go-to receiver that we can trust to catch the ball. And as you see, we're recruiting against Clemson, so we definitely want to make sure that we beat Clemson out for that recruit. Obviously, Clemson being our in-state rival. So if we go over here to teams that players that we are actually leading with, biggest lead, that's what we want to go with. Robert Archie, the 5-star defensive end. We have a 4-star, the number 2 tackle. That's pretty cool. So we have number 2 defensive end, number 2 tackle, number 9 defensive tackle, number 16 guard, number 4 outside linebacker, number 10 tight end. We had to remove a tight end off the board. Let me check this guy. I forgot to check him again. Oh, he hasn't been scouted yet. So hopefully he's good. I just put him on the board. But he is number 1. So, or we're number 1 on his board. So, Waverly, Michigan. Welcome. Gary Sanders, hopefully. Number 15 defensive tackle. We're ahead on him. That's not a bad get right there. middle linebacker. Number 6 middle linebacker. Number 9 athlete. He hasn't been scouted yet, I don't believe. No, we just put him on the board. So hopefully he's pretty good. Kevin Dawson, number 46 receiver. He's kind of like a, he's a gem. He's a plus 574 overall. He's got decent route running. He looks more of like he's not really possession. Honestly, I think he maybe could be a slot receiver, maybe. Honestly, I don't see him getting a whole lot. I don't see anything flashy here about him. The acceleration at 87, maybe he'd be somewhat of a return guy, but not really. We'll see what we can do with him. Tight end wise, Walter Jackson. Watch this guy. Watch Kevin Dawson's actually join our team and end up being like an absolute baller for his career. And I'll eat my words and be happy to do so. So tight end Walter Jackson. He's number 32 tight end in the country from Jessup, Georgia. Not a crazy deal with him. Number 8 kicker, who is a power kicker. I believe this is the guy with the terrible accuracy. Yeah, and all these other guys, you can see we're not very far behind on most everybody here. Brad Fisher and Michael Mitchell, we're really going to have to work for them, but they're good guys to work for. A number 15 tackle, scouted at plus 5 at a 76. Not bad at all. Run block, pass block, very, very equal. Impact blocking, very good. Acceleration at 90. Strength at 81. This is a good guy. This is a guy that I really want to get. He's an all-around guy. He can pass block. He can run block. He can be on the field with every play. Same goes with here with Michael Mitchell, one of the best in the country. He is the best in the country, actually. So we're going after him. Hopefully we can do something with that. 86 pass block, 81 run block, 96 acceleration. 96 acceleration for a tackle means he can pull, and that's what we want. We want to tackle, we want guards, and everything that can pull. Pretty good get right there if we can solidify it. But I think that's pretty much everything for the start of the new season. I think that we're going to start the new season on a new episode. So we're going to go in and actually play our first game. So, very next episode will be in our first game against North Carolina, number 10 North Carolina, with a Heisman hopeful actually at quarterback with Sam Howell. We know during the season, things didn't really pan out for North Carolina like they would hope, and South Carolina inevitably beat them at the end of the year for the bowl game. And so, hopefully we can have the same success here in this Dynasty and in this video. So, tune on in next time. The next video should be up fairly shortly. And so enjoy it. Hope that you like the new series. I'm excited for it. I'm excited it'll last a very long time. Hopefully you will watch for a very long time, and we can get very involved with the players and their history and as they progress. So we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.